Have you heard the phrase, a tired dog is a good dog? Well, you might be surprised, but I don't like it. And I don't agree with it. This is just another one of those common phrases in dog training that is overused and actually misunderstood. When you peel off the layers of that statement and you really try to understand what it means, well, most trainers will tell you that tired and good dog don't usually go together. But today, you're in luck. You have a trainer in the house, and we are gonna dive into that statement and what's wrong with it. So the next time you hear it, you can let people know why it's not a good idea. You'll be a hit at parties. But I'm gonna tell you about 7 ways you can make your dog tired and in a good way. Now, whether you have a puppy or a 14-year-old dog, this is gonna be a great video for you. Michele here with How to Train a Dream Dog. Now, if you subscribe to our channel, you're going to get notifications when we go live. Sometimes we do Q&A sessions, so you can even submit a question. Just hit the bell and subscribe, and you're going to get great content just like today's video. Okay, I promised I'd dissect that statement for you. Here goes. So imagine you are getting to know a friend that you just met at spin class. You both sweat it out at the gym and you're always going at the same time. You naturally strike up a conversation, right? It's natural that after spin class you might head out for a smoothie or a cup of coffee. Stay with me here. But the friend suggests that you go for a run instead. Maybe you suggest going out to see a movie, but she suggests a hike. What if you wanted to tell her all about a new book you've been reading that you find really interesting, but she's lacing up her shoes to hit a hill to run? This new friend doesn't sound like she's a good fit for you. You have a variety of interests, but all she wants to do is move. All exercise and no play makes Jill a, well, not so good friend. All right, that might be a little different than your dog, but what I'm trying to tell you is that your dog has a variety of interests. If you simply exercise him and then drop him back off at the house while you pursue your interests, you're actually not fulfilling all of his needs. Dogs love to sniff and dig and chew and lick and forage and scavenge. They don't often walk just for the sake of walking. That's actually a human thing. They enjoy walks because it gives them a chance to do those things that are part of their DNA. So that's actually my #1 reason why I don't like the statement. Dogs have more interests than just exercise. The other reason is something that a lot of people don't think about. Too much exercise can turn your dog into a super athlete. Now, I always tell my students, what you train gets better and stronger. Well, that goes for good habits like greeting guests nicely and coming when called, but it also goes for physical strength and stamina. If your dog gets used to going for 5-mile walks twice a day, he's gonna wanna go for 5-mile walks twice a day for a very long time. Are you prepared to keep up with that? And what happens when those 5-mile walks become too easy for him and now he wants to go for 10 miles? Are you ready for that in the dead of winter? Now, I'm not saying to turn your dog into a couch potato, but be careful what kind of athlete you turn your dog into. There is a sweet spot between enough exercise to help him settle and too much exercise that makes him or her have a high need for even more movement. Your job is to find the middle ground that works for both you and your dog. Now, the other reason why I don't like that statement is because honestly, a tired dog is not often a very good dog. Have you ever heard that statement applied to a toddler? A tired toddler is a good toddler. Nope, I definitely didn't think that that was true. A tired toddler is cranky and fussy and probably not fun to be around. So when your dog's batteries are depleted, he's less likely to alert you to potty breaks, or manage his impulses not to bite or jump or chase the cats, or have patience for body handling or grooming, or want people invading his space. And he's probably just more grouchy overall. So have I convinced you to throw that phrase out the window? I think a better statement is, a fulfilled dog is a good dog. So that means that a dog's needs have been met with both mental and physical exercise, and he's not so exhausted that all this training has gone out the window, and he can still be successful in the environment in which he lives. So how do we get a fulfilled dog? Well, that's why we're here today. Let's go. Here are my 7 tips. So the first thing you want to do is understand your dog's unique needs and interests. Now, a lab might love water, but a French bulldog says, no thanks. Understanding what your dog specifically loves to do is going to be a great first step in making sure that she is fulfilled. So watch your dog's body language and interest level when you try different activities, and be sure to introduce new activities periodically. What your dog liked when she was a puppy might not be the same when she's 2 years old. What she liked last week may not be the same as this week. Offering up new activities helps her use her brain in new ways and creates interest and novelty. Brains that are busy learning new things rest well when it's nap time. And if you've ever taken a foreign language immersion class, you know what I'm talking about. Next, understand what dogs instinctively love to do. This is going to help you introduce new activities to see how much he or she enjoys them. I listed out some of those instinctual behaviors already, but stick around because in a minute, I'm going to give you some good examples from the students in my online course. I think if you put on your puppy detective hat and watch your dog what he does naturally, even if it frustrates you, you're going to actually start to see what he enjoys doing. And believe me, if you offer those activities that frustrate you in a way that's productive and not destructive, your dog's going to be less likely to do them when you don't want them to. All right, here comes tip number 3. Exercise is important, but it's not everything. Yes, it's good to get your dog's heart pumping a little bit, but honestly, this is not our #1 goal here. A few rounds of fetch and maybe a chase or two with the flirt pole and you might be good to go. Not only do we not want to create super athletes that I talked about earlier, but you don't want your dogs to get so overstimulated that they can't settle well. An appropriate play or exercise session with your dog should look like a little bit of a child's roller coaster. You don't want too many highs and lows. So if your dog's day looks like an extreme roller coaster from Six Flags, well, you might be contributing to some frustrating behavior and the other times of the day. So that extreme overstimulation followed by isolation or lack of stimulation is just really hard for the canine brain to process. My next tip is also about exercise, but it's a little bit different. So in addition to small amounts of heart pumping fun, you're going to want to definitely add in some exercises that she's going to love. So for most dogs, that means decompression walks. This is the best of both worlds. You're going to get her out of the house into a new environment, and she's going to get to leisurely sniff and explore, which is what her doggy brain loves to do naturally. Now, decompression walks are done on a long leash with a back clip harness and should be done in a very quiet environment that allows her to just relax and do her sniffing and exploring in peace. All right, ready for tip number 5? So if you're worried that a sniffy decompression walk isn't enough to get your dog to settle in for a nap when you have to work, let me tell you what is going to work. Training. Have you ever spent all day studying for a bar exam or a real estate license or something else really important? I'm pretty sure you were pretty exhausted by the end of it, but it's not necessarily the bad kind of exhaustion, like a triathlon. That kind of activity is mentally draining, where you're ready to just veg out with a familiar sitcom or scroll through Facebook at the end of the day. Training does that for our dogs. Training is a workout for their brain, and after just a few minutes of training, most dogs are ready to settle in for a snooze or a quiet activity. You'll find that even 30 minutes of training a day, broken up into small doses, can really help your dog settle when it's time to be quiet. Now, a few months ago, we created a great video on making an obstacle course in your home for your dogs. My team member Allison filmed Lincoln working really hard to learn the course. After about 15 minutes of training on the course, this is how we ended up. He was very satisfied after that. Thanks for your hard work, Lincoln. All right, here comes tip number 6 on how to tire out your dog. Enrichment. Honestly, this really should be number 1 if you ask me. This concept has become much more familiar over the last 5 to 10 years. Now, if you had a dog as a kid, you probably didn't think about some of these things. But now we know a lot more about how dogs can thrive in a human world, so we can do better. But what do I mean by enrichment? Well, let me tell you. In a nutshell, enrichment means doing things that your dog loves to do and meeting their daily needs. These are things that can come naturally to them, like sniffing, exploring, scavenging, chasing, and digging. There's more to it than that, and it also includes things like proper nutrition and safety and security too. But today we're going to actually just focus on the activities that dogs love to do. So a few months ago, we did a challenge with the students enrolled in my online course at the pro level. We do challenges every month to help them understand and apply important training concepts. In October, we developed a point system where we assign points to different activities that dogs do. We challenged our students to reach 200 points every day with their dog. dog. This was such a fun activity because it really got people thinking about what was important to their dog and how to fit it into their day-to-day activities. Now, you'd actually be surprised by some of the things that are worth relatively few points, like fetch. We assigned a lot more points to things like decompression walks or training or busy box activities. Our students were really creative in how they engaged with their dogs, and their dogs were happier for it. This is an example from Simone and Sam, who dedicated a lot of time to Oakley. He's a big dog with lots of energy. Look at what a good day Oakley had. And yet, they also share videos of how he loves to watch TV. This is a fulfilled dog. He enjoys his time with his humans and he relaxes when they're ready to chill out. A lot of other students participated in this challenge too. It was awesome to see all the fun they had with their dogs. Now, I actually encourage you to make a list of some of these enriching activities that we actually talked about today. Hang it on the refrigerator. That can remind you of ways that you can engage with your dog and help her body and her mind. And if you're actually enrolled at the pro level of my course, we have a PDF you can print out just for your fridge. Sometimes when things hang on the fridge, other family members start to pick up on those new skills. Wink, wink. If you're still struggling with ideas and want to get even more good examples of enrichment, take a look at this next video here. Now, before I share the last tip I have for you on how to fulfill your dog's life, let me remind you of the thanks button here on YouTube. My team and I put a lot of time and effort into these weekly videos, so if you're loving this content, feel free to give us a little tip. When you subscribe and share this video, that also helps us a lot as well. Okay, on to my last tip on how to tire out your dog. This one seems so simple, but it really makes the most difference. Make sure your environment matches your goal. What I mean by this is if you're getting your dog ready to settle down for a nap, make sure the environment is giving her the same message. Now, I'm talking about spa-like atmosphere with soft music, lights low, calm humans, and even some white noise or brown noise. Don't forget your crate tools like the Adapto plugin and the Snuggle Puppy. Recently, in my Facebook group, Puppy Training with Michele Lennon, we were advising someone on how to help their hyper and bitey puppy. And another group member shared this piece of advice. Clover gets hyper when her batteries are draining. Last night, after the last potty break, we came in to a cozy environment. The lights were out, the curtains were drawn, the quiet music was playing, and she immediately knew it was bedtime. She settled down for bed in about 10 minutes, even curling up in her crate, being asleep before the door was shut. I should have closed the curtains during the day when she was napping. That's great advice. Now, as the dog gets older and gets used to napping at certain times of the day, you may not need to create the spa-like environment. But when you have a puppy and they're still getting used to the routine, you might want to try every tip and see how it works for your puppy. Okay, so now you know why a tired dog is a good dog is really not an accurate statement, and how there's so much more that goes into helping a dog sleep well and recharge those canine batteries. So the next time you hear that phrase or your brain serves it up, try to refrain from that statement. Instead of saying, I really need to tire her out, say, I really need to fulfill all of her needs. Hopefully today's video will help you do that. Just remember that every dog is unique and you need to pay attention to your dog's needs, which may be different from your neighbor's. If you need help with that, you know where to find us. Just reach out. All right, in the comments below, tell me, which one of these tips are you going to try first? And are you going to get to the 200 points a day like my students did? I hope so.